All right, good morning, everyone. Lesson 6 today. You might hear quite a bit of background noise. My son going a little crazy, but that's okay. So here we go. Today's target. I can find patterns in vertical and horizontal lines and understand that points on the plane are distances from the axes. So pretty much like we did yesterday. So if you want some fluency practice, you can go ahead and pause the video, copy this down. This will take you back to the beginning of the year when we did this. Multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. Here's another fluency, and then fluency decimals on a number line, which is what we're going to do a little bit today. We have our application problem that we did, and here we go. So, you need to draw this coordinate plane on your graph paper. Looks just like mine. Okay, 0 is at the origin, and then we have numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, but notice that they are spaced out every 4 boxes. Okay, so every 4 boxes. So that means each box represents 1/4. Very good. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do after you create your grid is to plot the point A at 2.5 and 1 1/4. So 2.5 and 1 1/4. This is A. Explain to your partner what these coordinates tell us. Well, you don't have a partner, but you can just think out loud. What do these coordinates tell us? A is 1 1/4 from the x-axis, and it is 2 1/2 from the y-axis. Okay. So your points tell us how far over on the x you have to travel from 0, and then how far up from parallel you go. So your x tells you how far over, the second tells you how far up. And ever since we started coordinate planes, that's what I kept telling you is over, up, over, up, over, up. And that's what helps me. Okay? I would like to describe the shortest distance to A from the x-axis. Okay, so the shortest distance to A from the x-axis is going straight up and counting the units. It's 1 1/4 straight up from the line x. The y-coordinate tells us how far from the x-axis you have to go up, just like we did yesterday. Now let's describe the shortest distance to point A from the y-axis. How far is A from the y-axis? Okay, same thing. You just go straight over from the y-axis like this. Okay, you go straight over, and it's 2.5 from y in a straight line. My line isn't that straight. Okay? So the shortest distance to A is 1 1/4 units from the x-axis, and the shortest distance from the y-axis to A is 2.5. All right, so now we're going to move on. This is exactly what we were just talking about. Okay, what you can do is in your notes, you can write down these words. right, now we're going to move on. Okay, the next two portions are step by step. Okay, you guys are going to complete these. So, you will need a table. All right, you will need a table. So your table is going to read point X, Y, and then XY. We're going to have 6 points to plot. 6 points. So you're going to need a table like we did yesterday. Your table is going to say point, and then it's going to have X and a Y, and then, whoops, X, Y, okay, just like yesterday. So we're going to have A, B, C, D, and E, and F. Okay, so let's do point A. We got to fill that in the table. Our X is 2.5, and our Y is 1 1/4. So our coordinate pair is 2 1/2, comma 1 1/4. All right, let's plot B on the board. Okay, so B is going to be here. Here is my B. Go ahead and write the coordinates of that in your table. The coordinates of B are 2.5 and 2 3/4. Good job. 2.5, comma 2 3/4. So now, what do you notice about these 2 points? Good, they have the same x coordinate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct a line and call it L. This is line L. It's a cursive L. Okay, that is line L. It is perpendicular to the x-axis. All right. So now what we're going to do is I want you guys to plot point C. Point C is going to be halfway between point A and point B. Where is that? So point C, it's going to be in the middle of A and B. Can you plot C? Fill it in the graph, or fill it in your chart. Point C is halfway between A and B. This is going to be C. So C is going to be still the same x-coordinate, 2 1/2, and this y-coordinate is 2. All right, nice job. All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to plot our points D, E, and F. Okay, so now we're going to draw another line, line M. So I'm going to use a different color highlighter. Let's use blue. We are going to draw line M. It's going to be perpendicular to line L and only a half away from the x-axis. So 1/2 from the x-axis is going to put us here, and it's perpendicular to line L. So this is line M. All right. So now we're going to plot our point D where the lines L and M intersect. So go ahead and plot your point D where the lines L and M intersect. Remember, this is line L. So D is going to go right here where these lines intersect. So D is going to be on the same x-axis, 2.5. 2 1/2, and it's on the line M, so it's going to be 1/2. So D, E, and F are all going to be on line M, so the y coordinate is all going to be 1/2. Good. You can already fill in that y coordinate. My son is putting his grandparents in timeout right now. Okay. All right. So we know that they're all going to lie on our line M, which the y coordinate is going to be 1/2. So we plotted point D. We're going to label it. And then we're going to put the coordinate pair is 2.5 and 1/2. All right. So how far is D from the x-axis? From the x-axis, it's 1/2. Okay. How far is D from the y-axis? Going this way from the y-axis, it is 2.5. Okay. Okay. So now let's do E. Plot a point E on line M that is 3/4 units from the y-axis. So 3/4 from the y-axis, it's going to be on the line M. That puts E right there. E. So E is 3/4 from the y-axis. So that is the x coordinate. And the coordinate pair is 3/4, comma, 1/2. And the last one is E. Oh no, that is E. Last one is F. So we're going to plot point F on line M. That is 3/4 unit farther from the y-axis than E. So 3/4 farther than E. That puts us, go ahead and plot it. Record it in your table. F. Remember, each square represents 1/4. So 3 points farther from the y-axis would be F. So F is at 1 1/2. And fill in your table. Nice job. Okay. Nice job, everyone. All right. So we are still not done yet. We are going to create a new line. I'm going to move my finger along the plane. Say stop when I get to a location that is 1.5 units from the y-axis. So I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to move it along. And I want you to tell me to stop when I get to a location that is 1.5 units from the y-axis. Here we go. Stop. Okay, that's 1.5 units from the y-axis. Very good. Now I'm going to run my highlighter vertically along 1.5. Okay, so 1.5. Here is a line that I am going to draw. This is line N. Okay, this is going to be line N. N. Okay? Is every x coordinate to the left of this green line greater or less than a distance of 1.5? So I'm going to say that again. Every x coordinate to the left of the line greater or less than a distance of 1/2. Less, very good. And every x coordinate to the right of the line is greater than 1 1/2. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shade the part of the coordinate plane that we see that is more than 1.5 units from the y-axis. So I'm going to take my highlighter and I am going to shade in red part of our coordinate plane that is more than 1.5 units from the y-axis. More than 1.5 units from the y-axis. Okay, so everything in red is more than 1.5 units. Okay. Show your neighbor the portion of the plane that is less than 2.5 units from the y-axis. So everything on the left side of line L. Now we're going to shade everything to the left of line L with a blue. So here's our line L. And everything to the left of it gets shaded blue. Everything to the left is blue. Okay? Now what I want you to do is I want you to name a point that would lie in the purple region. So we have a blue region, we have a red region, and in the middle there, we have a purple region. So I want you to point to plot 3 points inside that purple region, and you are going to name them G, H, and I. And you're going to give me the coordinates of G, H, and I. You're going to do that all by yourself. When you are done plotting 3 points, make sure you screenshot, add that to Seesaw, And then there's that purple region in there. You can practice on your problem set if you want. And then you do, this isn't showing me an exit ticket. So let me see if you have an exit ticket today. Yep, you do have an exit ticket. Okay, where you're going to have to plot points, construct lines. I'm so excited for you. Good luck today.